Alright, here we are. This is that video of a retake, not really retake, I guess take two if you want to call it that. Put the first one out there of how we were starting the channel and the nerves I had. Maybe not a little less nervous. We did everything, we shot it right off of the first take that you saw it. I immediately went into it and I was like, okay, well that went okay, and I realized that the shirt I had on, actually I realized that well after, had a stain on it, and it was a, I won't say a new shirt, but it was a clean shirt, and apparently, I don't know if I had eaten something for breakfast and got something on, or if it's a long-term stain, so we're like, okay, we shot that hour, we redid it, without me kind of doing what I'm doing now to kind of loosen up, and shot it, and it felt real stiff, and that's when we realized, I got a stain on the shirt, so we're not going to use any of that just because my wife's like, I'm going to be looking at that stain the entire time, and I don't want that to be the case. So I'm just trying to kind of figure out what I'm doing. Last time I didn't think about too much about what I was wearing. This time I am, to the point I've even decided to put a shark tooth metal type necklace on. I'm just looking at it going, that's hanging too low. And again, I'm trying to give you the real stuff, so I'm just going to keep this in here and you can decide just how goofy as hell this is. So I think it's still too low. So anyway, yeah, we're putting the videos together and we go through it and we've got nothing. And we're learning how to do all the editing. So that's its own challenge because we don't know what the heck we're doing. All this software and stuff that a younger person probably just does and goes, well, I don't know what you're talking about. That's pretty easy. It's not to us. So we spent, gosh darn it, we spent after we shot that first video that we're going to use, as messy as it is, we shot it another about 2 hours, and then we edited again, brand new, learning the software. Again, hours and hours and off and on, and trying to get frustrated, getting frustrated, realizing what we've done. As we go through it, we realized that the microphone that we were using in that take, instead of being the extra one, the one that's supposed to be a nicer mic that hopefully you're hearing, because we're not sure, it was actually the cameras. And so we did that, and it was like, you know what, it isn't that bad, we're going to keep it. And then on that we add just kind of a little bit of an intro to kind of explain what you were watching and why you were watching it, because it's not necessarily about what you would learn as far as cruising or traveling and such like that, which is what the channel's about. It's about what we're going to do as far as the journey and how hard it is and what we've learned, and you can kind of see the improvement as we go. So from the last shot, or the last shoot that day, it's been 4 days to kind of work up the nerves and kind of go through what I'm going to say. Still don't know that I got it, but I feel like I'm a little bit more calm or more loose than what I was, and maybe not stuttering quite as much. So yeah, it was a whole lot of time wasted. I would certainly tell you to not get discouraged. We kind of knew that there was going to be some issues. We really thought we had a lot of them figured out, and then we realized we didn't. So we found out the camera, we think that there's some settings you have to do, since again we had said we bought this nicer camera, that you couldn't just stick the thing on there and plug it in. I guess there was some settings on the camera to pick it up. Again, mold, so it's just, I figure I plug it in and it takes over the sound. Wrong. And then we thought that the mic that we were going to use, we would plug it into the laptop, and then that little voiceover that I did on that again we're going to use, would be using the better mic, and didn't work either. So apparently that was the far lesser mic that laptop that I have, which is not like a super expensive one. So I've got this laptop getting the audio on it. So if it sounds a little off, again, we wanted to kind of keep it real for this section of what we're doing, this how to start a channel kind of a thing, a travel channel. So anybody else that's doing this can kind of have a feel as to what we went through to sort of compare it, because it's a different animal, and all the time that it takes to do this. Again, we kind of thought that maybe someone would find it kind of beneficial. a lot of people that we see in the comments of other people's videos are thinking about doing it. They want to know what the process is, and I see the questions get asked. And I'm like, why not? If we're doing it, if we're going to go for it, why not answer them? Worst case scenario is we somehow lose our motivation and nobody sees anything. So we've spent enough money on the equipment. We're gonna just go for it. So right now I've got the good camera up with the better mic that supposedly or hopefully is getting the audio right. We think we've got it set everything correct. I may do a video at some point where we just take the sound of the camera's mic, the sound of the boom mic, the sound of an iPhone mic, and the sound of a Samsung mic, because I've got the Samsung and my wife's got the iPhone, and we've tried to buy everything that we need for them. So we've got the mics of those, and we've got an extra mic that we bought that's kind of a clip-on, but not a super expensive one, but had all the stars that said, you know, people are using it. So you're going to see that at some point, and again, maybe we can kind of compare that together to see what it was. So if you're looking to start a channel, you'll get a little bit more first-hand knowledge of what the different sounds are and if it's what you want to do for your sound. So the room we have, it's freshly painted. It's got carpet down, or not carpet, I'm sorry. It's got a rug down that we just recently purchased for it because we just put new flooring on it. We put a curtain over here to help with some of the sound. It does not have a bed in it. It's more of an office, and now it's an office/studio. So there may be a little bit more echo, but we're hoping that it's not too bad. It didn't sound like it the first time just using the camera's mic, so we think we're going to roll with it anyway, and you can let us know in the comments what your thoughts are in compared to some of the other things that you see, and hopefully maybe, again, some of the differences that are going. Like I said, when it came time to dressing and having that t-shirt on and realizing it's stainless, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a better effort. So I got that, and I think I'm gonna have a hat maybe at some point. We talked about that. I liked hats. This is what COVID did to me. we were gonna go on our very first cruise just before COVID, and 2 weeks before COVID hit, they canceled the cruise, and they canceled basically everything in the city that we're in, and we're like, you know what, this is bull. Nobody knew anything about COVID, and well, why is this bothering us? And it's no big deal. And within the 2 weeks, the date, because there was another sailing that happened, it was reported a few days after what we would have been sailing, the people that got off, that there was COVID that was running onto the ship, and the crew had it, and the passengers had it, and so it was a bad situation. And we kind of joked, and my wife was like, man, you know, that might be fun, being our first cruise. We would just be, you know, stuck on a cruise ship. That'd be awesome. And we're thinking about going, wait a minute, not if we're the ones that's sick. That's not gonna be fun. So a little less fun, but it's a good memory for us to look at and see where we're at, because we went from doing our first cruise our first booked cruise was going to be on a special cruise called the 80s cruise, and it has the actual bands on it and such. And so that was 2 years ago, February, I guess, 2023 February. But before that, we realized we might want to find out what's going on, so we booked another cruise before that in September. So September of 2022, yeah. So September of 2022 was our first cruise. And we did that, and we absolutely loved it. We couldn't wait to get on again. And then we found a cruise that we were looking at, and it was a 4-day cruise out of New Orleans, and it was like a, I don't know, $250, $260 plus port fees and taxes per person. I was like, well, that sounds pretty good, and we're debating. It was like, I don't know. And we waited, and like 2 days later, they had something called a flash sale. And the price dropped for, as far as I know, that day, and it was $190 a person, so we booked it. And again, had a fantastic time. That was Radiance of the Sea. Loved that ship. The first one we went on was Explorer of the Seas, and we loved that ship too. It was just a great time. But since then, we kind of got hooked. So again, mid-September 2022 was our first cruise, and then here coming up in September, which will be just under 2 years, we'll be finishing our 15th cruise. So, and then those will be 14 Royal Caribbean and one that was Margaritaville at Sea. It was kind of between cruises of the 2024 80s cruise and another cruise we had that was a comped cruise for the casino. We'll explain how that works, because that's a big part of the reason that we're cruising so much. It's not because we're flush with cash, it's because we've really got this figured out. I'm looking forward to sharing that video with you, because it's different than what I've seen anybody really talk about. If you gamble different, you don't know one thing to the next, and we do that. So anyway, we'll get to that. So anyway, we're coming to you and with this video knowing that within 2 years we'll be doing our 15th cruise, and from right now, being we just finished the 14th, which is a back-to-back Alaska. We've got 5 more booked up until middle of May 2025, I guess that'd be, and plans for others. So I really feel like I got something to bring to the table when it comes to doing these videos, because I've watched everybody and I love them. But I kind of thought, you know, some of the things that I saw that I wanted to kind of add to it and bring my own flavor to. And so that brings us to this here. And so I'm wanting to kind of, again, give you guys just how you can still probably hear some of the nerves that are going on. It took me, I should have started this, what you're watching right now, hours ago, and I had to like work up the nerves to do it, because I've got tons of anxiety. I'm definitely, you wouldn't always know it. A lot of people that know me would know it, but I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert. But you know, if you're going to get out and meet people, you just got to kind of push through. And so that's kind of how that happens. So I'm an introvert that looks like an extrovert to most people. So I get that if you have those issues. And again, we'll probably cover that too at some point. So I think what I'm going to do at this point here, we will go into some different videos like you're seeing now that'll be more specific to what we're doing. But I wanted to do this video to just show you the difference in how I felt, excuse me, how I felt then, and the nerves. Because I watched that video and go, oh my gosh, and I stuttered, and I said that staying on the clothes, and I'm just, I was shaking, and everything around me I was noticing. You know, the table I've got has a little bit of a creak to it. I'm like, right, I could hear the creaks in it, which I'm just showing you. I'm gonna try to avoid that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna end this video here, and I am going to restart doing the video as far as what I was trying to do, which was to talk about the drink packages and how those work from one to the next on Royal Caribbean. And I hope to do all the other ones, because we're hoping to do some cruises on some of the other cruise lines. But there's a lot of relatable stuff, so you don't necessarily be a Royal Caribbean person to get something out of what I'm going into. So see you on the next video.